is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are the West.
The first two games of the season between your Rangers and their rival LA Angels have been lopsided affairs, each club winning with explosive offensive outbursts. For two of the top four pitching staffs in the American League, the blowouts are not what we're expecting. Tonight, the pitching is in the spotlight as two of the best early season starters square off. Young Matt Harrison at 3-0 faces perennial all-star Jared Weaver rolling at 4-0. A series win is at stake as the Rangers and Angels meet next on Fox Sports Southwest. Overcast and very cool with a north breeze at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Game 3 of the first series of the year, matching the co-leaders in the American League West, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim and the Texas Rangers. And we welcome you, Dave Barnett, along with Tom Grieve. John Radigan has the night off tonight. What a special pitching matchup, about as good as you could have this early in the season. And for the Rangers, Tom, Matt Harrison has been maturing and putting his entire game together in front of our eyes, all three of his outings so far.
He has, Dave. It's really one of the nice stories of the first 3 weeks of the season. Matt talked about his off-season preparation, both physically and mentally, and it really has paid dividends. He's a different guy on the mound. He challenges the hitters. He's got excellent stuff. And I think the thing that's most impressive about him this year, obviously the quality is solid, but his pitch counts aren't huge, 108, 109, 104, but it's got him through at least 7 innings in all 3 starts. Given innings, given quality, and so far so good for Matt.
He is a machine getting ground ball outs. Remember, 6 double plays tying the American League record last time out at New York. For the Angels, Jared Weaver, the earliest 4-game winner on the calendar in baseball history, tries to go 5-0. Major League strikeout leader a year ago. With his first strikeout tonight, he will regain that place. So a great matchup in store for you. Harrison and Weaver, the Rangers and the Angels coming up. baseball on Fox Sports Southwest, brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. By Jack in the Box. Get the All-American Jack Combo for only $4.99 plus tax. And by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. And we are set to go. Matt Harrison to deal to Maicer Isturis. He is the DH tonight for Mike Scioscia, and he takes strike one. Isturis to be followed by Howie Kendrick and Torrey Hunter as we get underway in the rubber game of the series. First place in the division on the line. We said it was cool tonight. It is 62 degrees as we get underway. And the rest of the Southwest Airlines Angel starting lineup tonight. We gave you the first three. Vernon Wells is starting to come around offensively. He's cleanup tonight. Cayaspo, the impressive rookie Trumbo, Borges, Mathis, and Eric Ibar has been activated today. As that pop-up will sail out of play. And Tom, the scouting report on Matt Harrison.
Well, there's a lot of good things to say about Matt 3 starts into the season. Obviously, he hasn't lost yet. His ERA is just about 1. He's given innings, not many hits, not many walks, good number of strikeouts, at least 7 innings in all 3 starts. That's a manager's dream, a pitcher that can give you quality and pitch deep into the ballgame. It's been a great start for Matt. Definitely a better outlook, more confidence, more aggressive, and the results speak for themselves.
In the air to right field, and that's Mitch Moreland tonight. And he retires Isturis. Defensively, look that we saw a couple of days ago. Nathan Murphy in center. Nelson Cruz moving from right to left. In the infield, Beltre Andrews, Michael Young at second. Napoli playing first, and Torrealba is behind the plate. So Mike Napoli getting to play 2 of the 3 games against his former team. Monday, he was the catcher for C.J. Wilson. Howie Kendrick hitting .292. And tied for second, that big stack up in the American League in home runs with 5. Out in front, off speed.
Yeah, Matt's changeup and his fastball look exactly the same. The way he delivers them, his arm speed, the way they sink and move. Just one's 10 miles an hour slower than the other.
And the ability to keep everything down. I mean, the ultimate testament to that was all the double plays on Friday.
Absolutely. He throws hard, the ball sinks, and he has been able to keep it down, and that's led to a lot of good things.
And this is high on these last 2 pitches to Kendrick. Falls behind 3 balls and a strike. Matt has not seen the Angels all that often. His 8th appearance, just his 3rd start. And again, it's Kendrick out in front, and that fills up the count.
I think that's one of the things that Matt and Derek Holland have done and will continue to get better at. Throwing their off-speed pitches when they're behind in the count. 3-1 changeup. Kendrick looking for a fastball, was way out in front of it. Now he comes back with his best fastball, and it's no contest.
And I think best fastball of the season right there at 96 miles an hour.
3-1's a fastball count. If Kendrick gets the fastball 3-1, maybe he fouls it off, maybe he puts it in play, but after the changeup, you've got that in the back of your mind. Whoa, I was way out in front of the changeup. Now there's no way you're going to catch up with that 96 mile an hour fastball. That's a nice combination of pitches right there.
Here's Torrey Hunter. Bobby Abreu getting his first day off. Would normally batting in the 3 spot, but it's Hunter trying to end what is now a 2 for 22 slump, extended back a little further, and he's 4 for his last 35. Numbers you just don't associate with Torrey Hunter. But he says he's just hoping he gets his big annual slump, which everybody's going to have, out of the way first thing, while the team is winning without a whole lot from him offensively, although he is still managing to lead them in runs batted in with 10, so the few hits he has had have been very timely.
Yeah, I guess I would agree with him as a player. Get that slump out of the way early. The problem with the slump early is it really makes your batting average look bad. You don't notice it as much during the season. Another Angel hitter swinging 3 balls and no strikes. Last night there was 2 of them. Trumbo hit a home run. Vernon Wells grounded out to second. 2 3-0 pitches, and there's Hunter jumping on that 3-0 pitch. Trying to anyway. Jammed him.
That one up in the air, and Nelson Cruz comes in to finish a 1-2-3 first for Matt Harrison. Nothing on the ground, but it'll do. For Ron Washington tonight. And Kinsler, Andrewson, Young at the top. Red hot bat of Adrian Beltre cleanup, followed by Cruz, Murphy, Napoli, Moreland, and Torrealba. They have their work cut out. Jared Weaver 4-0 with a 130 run average.
Yeah, and you're looking at maybe one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. He keeps maturing and getting better year by year. He's already started 4 times. His ERA is 1.30, 31 strikeouts. Opponent's batting average is only 137. Leads the American League with 31 strikeouts. Led all of Major League Baseball with 233 last year.
And Kinsler goes right after the first pitch. And into foul ground, it is Mark Trumbo. The rookie first baseman puts it away as we look at the defensive alignment for the Angels tonight. Has to be the fastest outfield in recent baseball history. Wells, Borges, Hunter, Callaspo, Ibar activated today. Back at short. And Jeff Mathis behind the plate. Eric Ibar had been on the shelf, retroactive to April 3rd with left oblique soreness. But we were told when this series began that the Rangers would see him at some point. That point has arrived. Here's Elvis Andrus coming in at 213. His one hit last night, an RBI double. It came in the 9th inning for the final margin of 15-4. And that one into the hole. An early challenge for Ibar, and Elvis easily beats it out. Isturis has been playing short, not the range that Ibar has, but Elvis tucked that one into a spot where really there's no shortstop who's going to keep him off at first base.
No one's going to make that play. Not even Elvis could have thrown himself out on that one. Weaver has all the pitches, and he's got deception to go along with it. Long legs, long arms, hides the ball, and then mixes in all the pitches. Fastball, curveball, slider, changeup. With excellent command. He really knows how to pitch. He's really become one of the best pitchers in baseball. Last year was a good step forward. His record was only 13-12, but his ERA was 3.01. Opponent's batting average 222, led the big leagues in strikeouts. Terrific young pitcher, and he still is pretty young.
Michael Young extended his hitting streak to 10 games last night with a single in the 8th inning. The Rangers should know Jared Weaver as any team in baseball. He started in every series these two played last year. 6 starts. He was 3-1 with an ERA of right at 3.5.
Yeah, we saw Weaver 6 times, and it seems like every year we see Felix Hernandez 6 times. So we're not missing the best pitchers, that's for sure.
Weaver, another good move to keep Elvis tied over there at first base.
And when you think about it, the Rangers will play 57 games within our division, 19 against all 3 teams. And when you look at the pitching in our division, it's solid pitching. So our hitters for 57 games are seeing some of the best pitching in the big leagues with the Angels staff, the A's young staff, Felix Hernandez, now Pineda. Jason Vargas is a good pitcher. Last year, Cliff Lee was there at the beginning of the year. Excellent pitching in the American League West.
And the Rangers fortunate this series to miss Dan Herron.
Yeah, that's a break, no doubt.
Like Weaver, 4-0.
You know, the Angels have a different philosophy than the Rangers do as far as starting pitching goes. The Rangers will not skip a starter. If there's off days, then you get an extra day rest. They stay in rotation. All 5 pitchers take their turn. The Angels are different. They skip starting pitching so that Weaver, Herron, and Santana. It helps when you've got 3 durable veteran starters. But after tonight, Weaver, Herron, and Santana will have started 13 of the 18 games they've played. Only 5 starts by someone else other than those 3 veteran starters.
And you see the results. Only behind the A's in team earned run average. Last night, the Rangers saw that ERA jump by about a half run. Even though 10 of those runs last night were unearned with a season high 4 errors. Opposite field bid by Michael Young, and it just slices off foul into the seats. 1-2. Game like last night, it's inevitable. Everyone is going to have a game like that. And then you just hope it's all out of your system for a while. Probably Mike Scioscia, an awful lot of fans around the 6th or 7th inning probably turn their attention to what this matchup would bring tonight.
Yeah, I think when you looked at this matchup early in the season, if you had to pick a great pitching matchup, there's probably been some other good ones, but this is right at the top of the list.
Another throw down to first by Mathis and barely safe.
That was better be careful. Those plays are pretty close at first base. He just got his arm underneath the bag, and that's a spot where the head first dive is almost a necessity. When you get off that far, you go in with your feet, you're out. But if you go in head first and all you give them is your hand to tag like that, you can get back safely. So there is a place for the head first dive, and that's one of them.
And they get him leaning finally.
Yeah, you get aggressive, you get careless over there, and that's what's going to happen. Weaver's got a pretty good pickoff move. Mathis has a quick move to first base. And it's not like you wouldn't be alert and ready for it. There's been a lot of throws over there. He was going on that play. Had a huge lead. The little feint towards second was all it took for that throw to sneak in there and get him.
So 2 outs, and Michael now trying not to end the inning. With the 2-2 pitch, he checks his swing, and down at first on the appeal, CB Buckner says it's a full count. Minor league umpire John Tumpane is behind the plate. Buckner at first, Dan Isonia at second, and the crew chief Dale Scott is down at third. Weaver's 3-2 pitch barely fouled at the plate.
And just like we were talking about how well Matt Harrison and Derek Holland as young pitchers are learning to throw off-speed pitches behind in the count, that's one of the hallmarks of a guy like Weaver. He has confidence in all of his pitches to throw them at any time. You can't look for any one given pitch. I think you just have to pretty much look for his fastball and adjust to the other pitches.
Weaver last year struck out 233, most of the majors, and the first Angel to lead the majors in strikeouts. It's one of the worst trivia questions ever. Of course, it was Nolan Ryan last time, 1977. He's the second Angel to strike out as many as 200 since the 2000 season. And another check swing, and C.P. Buckner rings up Michael Young after Dale Scott was pointing down toward first base. So the Angels work around Elvis's infield single with the timely pickoff, scoreless after one. Jim Knoxy.
All right, thank you, Dave. Texas fan right here, waving his flag in pride. And I tell you what, big happening last weekend in honor of Jackie Robinson. Rangers manager Ron Washington participated in a camp, junior RBI camp in Newark. This is to revive baseball in inner cities, and Ron had a good time helping out the youngsters from 8 to 18 years of age. You know, the junior RBI program alive in full force in the Dallas Metroplex area, and if you want to be a part of that, you can do so. Get him at first. Oh, safe. You can do so. Just contact the information on your screen. Dave?
Well, Vernon Wells started what appeared to be a routine ground out. Elvis Air mailing the throw. And by the time Napoli came down on the bag, Wells was already there. Second error this season on Andrews.
Yeah, just a routine play. Just throws it high. And Wells is hustling. When the runner doesn't hustle, first baseman has time to jump up and come down and tag the base. That's why you should never assume you're going to be out. If you do, you would have been out. But Vernon hustled all the way and ended up beating it.
And in a game like this, expected to be low scoring, you never know which mistake is going to be perhaps the one that decides the game. The Rangers, 4 errors last night, their most since July of 2008. And here is Callaspo, who enjoyed his 28th birthday yesterday. 2 for 3, scored a career high 4 runs, drove in another one.
Let's see if Matt can work the magic that he had last game with a double play ball.
Callaspo tearing it up on the road. Switch hitter against lefties, hitting .342, against righties hitting .333. Equal opportunity, and Harrison pours through a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Callaspo has more experience against Harrison than any of the Angels. This is 12th at bat all time. He's got 3 hits. Double play ball, Michael Young. And this time a strike from Andrews.
Well, you have to have some good fortune as far as the ball has to be hit so it can be fielded. But a lot of the credit for the double plays goes to Matt Harrison, who is making the pitch. The hard sinker down around the knees is the pitch you have to throw to get the ground ball in the first place. So he's making the pitch. The benefit of the ball being hit at somebody certainly helps, and then the fielders have taken care of the rest. It's one way to eliminate the error to start the inning.
Aspo doesn't do that very often. Just the second time all year he's grounded into a double play. So the base is clear for Mark Trumbo. And we heard all about his power, just anecdotes comparing his batting practice shows to those of Josh Hamilton.
Wow.
Mark Ubazaw, their television analyst, said it reminded him of some of the Bash Brothers BPs.
Wow, I didn't know that. I'm going to have to start. I love watching that. I'm going to have to start taking advantage of our 19 games against the Angels to watch his batting practices.
Well, and then, of course, last night, on a 3-0 pitch from Colby Lewis, he put one way out down the left field line, 358 feet. His third home run of the year.
I think the one thing you've learned about the Angels, at least early in the season, is Mike Scioscia will welcome them the opportunity to hit on a 3-0 pitch. And when you got a guy with power, you have to be careful. He hit 36 home runs last year in AAA. And I think a lot of managers like to let their guys hit 3-0 when they're in a slump, because they figure, okay, look for a fastball, get a fastball, you're in a great hitter's count, and take advantage of it. Maybe that base hit or a good swing gets you out of your slump.
Harrison trying to put him away inside, instead 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, it was a good try. There's no way he could pull the trigger on that pitch. He only could take it. Must have just been a little bit inside.
And you just had, at least I had, just a really bad intuition on Trumbo's homer last night. Colby Lewis struggling with velocity. This one chases Moreland back to the warning track, and he has to reach up over the shoulder.
Based on the swing, I didn't think the ball would carry 345 feet.
He does not have to get it all to send it a long way. To the bottom of the second, Beltre, Cruz, and Murphy for the Rangers. Jared Weaver set to deliver to Adrian Beltre, hitting .254. Looks at a first pitch curve in the air, first strike. 5 homers, 16 runs batted in. Tied for the American League RBI lead with Mark Teixeira, second in home runs. That big tie. Rolls over to Ibar. And with 1 out of the Rangers' second, let's welcome Emily Jones.
Well, guys, once again, Matt Harrison off to a great start, and a major luxury that he's got is the calming and veteran influence of his battery mate, Yorvit Toriol.
Obviously, I mean, they jump and they try to impress everybody, you know, and they overthrow sometimes. But overall, I mean, they're doing really well, you know. I mean, what I do with them, just slowing down whenever I feel like they're doing something wrong, but that doesn't really happen that often, you know. They on it. I mean, they're able to pound the strike zone really well, just like any other guy in here.
Yorvit Torrealba with today's Geico quote of the game, and he says, guys, really not that much difference dealing with CJ and Colby and the back end of the rotation, those young and less experienced guys.
Well, they're very fortunate to have the guiding hand that Yorvit presents. And Mike Napoli has drawn compliments from Ron Washington about the chances he's had behind the plate so far this year. That one just misses. Weaver now 3-0 behind Nelson Cruz. Cruz might be at a point where he's perhaps needing to swing at some 3-0.
I think it's a great place to swing 3-0 if you get a pitch to hit. And he was. Good call. You know, you figure this is going to be a low-scoring game. What better opportunity for one of your threats to get one run on the board with one swing than a 3-0 fastball?
That's how Nelson's going right now. He is just a little bit off. And again, had a good cut at it. Came up empty.
Ted Williams always said when it's 3-0 on the rare times you swing, or 3-1, 2-0, looking for a fastball, the one thing that can't happen is you can't be late. That was one thing he constantly preached.
Finishes him off with breaking stuff. Strikeout number 2. And for Cruz now 10 strikeouts in his last 6 games plus this at bat, 27 at bat stretch without very much contact at all.
As you can see, the 4th, 5th, and 6th pitches are all good pitches to hit. They're up in the strike zone. They're pitches that Nelly frequently drives into the gaps or over the wall. But when your timing's just off a tick, it's not quite as easy to do.
David Murphy going after the first pitch, and it will be Wells out in left field. A 9-pitch second inning turned in by Jared Weaver. Geico Insurance, where 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by AT&T. Dave Barnett with Tom Grieve. And that is one of the most stylish bands I think we've yet seen this year at the ballpark. The antler look, year 2. Very well personalized there. Peter Borges took a curve and looks at another pitch off speed. 2 balls and no strikes. Angel, speedy center fielder, took over from early August through last year. Looks at a strike here and has shown what he is capable of offensively in this series with his first ever 4-hit 3-run game last night. Up high, 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, this kid's an excellent looking athlete. He can really run. Really got a chance to see that when he rounded the bases last night. You can run him down in the outfield. He's got a good arm.
Just missing high. And the first walk served up by Matt Harrison. The Junior Rangers Club, presented by Dr. Pepper, better than ever in 2011. For only $15, kids 13 and under get a cap, a drawstring bag, 8 ticket vouchers, and front-of-the-line access to run the bases after Sunday afternoon games. Get details at TexasRangers.com. And an Easter Sunday afternoon game coming up. Rangers off tomorrow. And then the Royals in for 3. Sunday afternoon, 2:05. Jeff Mathis back catching tonight with his 182 batting average. Against Matt Harrison, he is 3 for 4 all time.
Hey, the Angels have some good-looking young position players that they're integrating into their lineup. Talked about Borges playing center field, premium position, premium-looking athlete. We also talked about Trumbo, potential power-hitting first baseman. Hank Conger, young catcher, really swung the bat well last night. Looked like an excellent prospect.
Mathis attempting a sacrifice bunt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Harrison not throwing many first pitch strikes tonight, only 3 to the first 8 batters. Hank Conger last night, 2 hits, scored twice, drove in 2. And the numbers for the Angel staff when Conger is catching are just off the chart. A much better bunt attempt this time, and Harrison will have only the play at first base. With 1 out, Borges in scoring position for Eric Ibar. And it does not necessarily take a solid single to bring the man with the speed of Borges home from second base. Much better bunting technique that time by Mathis. Not called on to do that all that often. His first sacrifice of this year, as a matter of fact. And speaking of first, Eric Ibar ready to hit for the first time since the first series of the season, when he was put on the DL with soreness in his left oblique. There's a first pitch strike.
In a game that looks like a low-scoring possibility, with a pitcher like Matt Harrison on the mound, I think Mike Scioscia would be more apt to sacrifice bunt in this game, just because of the amount of double plays that Matt's been getting and the way he's throwing his sinker down low and getting ground balls. Feel better giving up an out to move a runner than taking a chance on Mathis hitting another ground ball and turning it in to a double play.
Mike Scioscia, one of the most aggressive managers in baseball. Ron Washington takes a lot after him. This roller right to Michael Young, and a routine second out of the inning. Advances Borges now to third, and he's there with 2 outs for the top of the order, Myceris Sturis. Watch this series, talking about their similarities. It says, we went to the same school of baseball. They learned things the Dodger way. The Dodger way involves taking third base any chance you can from first on a base hit. Trying to advance on a pitch in the dirt. All things that really serve these two teams well. Far and away the best at taking third base from first on a base hit. Harrison again unable to get strike 1. And in 39 pitches, only 21 strikes, now 22 as he evens it up.
Yeah, a pitcher that doesn't have confidence or the ability to throw his off-speed pitches for a strike really gets in trouble when he gets behind in the count. The thing that's helped Matt this season and in this game, when he gets behind in the count, he doesn't have to throw a fastball. He can throw a changeup.
Napoli unassisted, and Harrison works around the leadoff walk. Peter Borges left at third, and we head to the bottom of the third, still scoreless. He's set to lead off the Ranger third in this 0-0 battle between Jared Weaver and Matt Harrison. Napoli bringing a .292 average, 3 homers, 5 runs batted in. Monday behind the plate, 1 for 3. The hit was a double, but he had maybe the most productive at bat of the game against Irvin Santana, Tom, when he worked in 10 pitches and finally got a walk in the inning where the Rangers busted that one open.
Yeah, that was one of those great at bats. Like to see that kind of ability to work the pitcher like that. Mike did a great job that night.
Santana really looking drained after that at bat. Ibar charges and throws him out. Well, the first Verizon wireless fireworks Friday of the season this Friday with the Royals in town. Enter Verizon as the coupon code on TexasRangers.com to purchase $10 tickets in select seating areas. You'll also enjoy $5 cash parking and a post-game fireworks show. That'll be Derek Holland against Jeff Francis. Holland will be going after his third victory.
A couple of left-handers. Jeff Francis trying to make a comeback after some injuries. So far, he's been a great sign for Kansas City.
Mitch Moreland has faced Weaver 8 times coming into this game. He has 3 hits, 2 of those solo home runs. The batting averages for the Rangers against the Weaver tend to be in the low 2s. That one driven into the gap. And Borges chases it down in front of the wall. Mitch Moreland has himself a 1-out double.
You have to take advantage when you get a decent pitch to hit from a guy like Weaver. And Mitch was able to wait on the breaking ball that time. Stays up a little bit outside, and so he went with it. Drove it into the gap in left center field. That's just a nice job of identifying the pitch, waiting on it, and driving it the opposite way.
Or even there you see the speed of Borges. Just about anybody else that gets to the wall. Well, Mitch Moreland safe at second, safe and secure. New York life. First scoring opportunity for the Rangers here with Torrealba batting .250. 2 for 4 last night with a second home run as a Ranger. He came to the 9th inning. And it was his first run batted in since his previous home run in Game 2 of the 2011 season against the Red Sox. Torrealba has never before faced Jared Weaver. And that vicious breaking pitch. The thing about Weaver, Tom, isn't it, that all the strikeouts he gets, it is not always the same pitch that he can finish you off with.
No, I think you're right. He can do it with any of his pitches. And his fastball, sometimes it's in the low 90s, sometimes it's in the high 80s, but the velocity on his fastball is not the key for him.
Borges charges, and it falls in front of him, and Moreland had to freeze and stay put at second base.
You know, on that play, there really wasn't much he could do. He looked back. He didn't know if Borges could catch the ball or not. The ball landed right in front of him. If he goes too far toward third base and Borges catches it, he gets doubled off second. And so he held his ground, yet by the time Borges caught the ball, I see him waiting to see. By the time he catches it now, he really can't get to third, and he has to hustle to get back to second. That's just one of those in-between balls as a runner. I don't know what else Mitch could have done, because the last thing you want to do with 1 out is to be doubled off second base and taken out of scoring position. And it was just one of those balls. The way it was hit, that's about all Mitch could do.
Back to the top of the order, and Ian Kinsler.
You know, you could have gambled and gotten farther off and taken your chance, but then if he comes in and makes a shoestring catch, you're doubled off. So he played it safe, and good part is you still have only 1 out and you have a couple of men out, so you still got a good chance with the leadoff guys coming up.
And isn't that another instance of Borges' speed paying off simply by reputation alone? Don't you think that had to play into Moreland's decision to see if he could actually get to that and make the catch?
Yeah, and if that ball's hit to left or right on other teams, then you might think of differently. But generally the center fielder is a guy that might come in and make that play for sure, whether it's Josh Hamilton or Julio Bourbon for the Rangers or whether it's Borges for the Angels, yeah, that I'm sure that entered into Mitch's mind.
The American League figuring out exactly what you have to do to get one to drop against this Angel outfield. And the 1-2 pitch, strikeout number 3 for Weaver. He has 1 per inning, 2 outs, and now up to Elvis Andrus to try and get something out of this grand scoring chance the Rangers have so far not taken advantage of.
Weaver's off-speed pitches, slider, curveball, changeup, are so good that it makes a 90-mile-an-hour fastball that looked like he might have cut that fastball a little bit. It just makes it look like it's 94 or 95 miles an hour. And then you add to that the location of it right on the outside part of the plate. You can watch him early in the game and see why he leads the major leagues in strikeouts.
Elvis first time up, an infield single, and that extended what is now a 5-game hitting streak. He is one of the best, regardless of his overall batting average, with runners in scoring position, tied for second in the league, in fact, at 8 for 16.
The other thing you'll see from the Angel outfielders, they're all center fielders. They play shallow, and it makes it difficult to score from second on a base hit.
Right at Ivar, and nothing comes of the 1-out double by Moreland and the following single by Torrealba. We played 3 and we remain 0-0. The Rangers had a busy day in terms of transactions, with Mason Tobin having to leave after a very brief appearance out of the bullpen last night. He has been placed today on the 60-day disabled list. An MRI and a CAT scan showing right ulnar collateral ligament inflammation. That's in the elbow where he had Tommy John surgery, a couple of nerve transplants, and very bad news for Mason Tobin, the Rule 5 pick from the Angels. Brett Tomko has been purchased from AAA Round Rock. He's in the bullpen tonight. Michael Kirkman, after really being battered last night, 6 runs in an inning and 2/3, is down at Round Rock now. The Rangers, for the first time this year, have 3 catchers. Taylor Teagarden recalled from AAA today.
Yeah, probably 2 of the few teams in baseball that carry 3 catchers are playing tonight. The Angels carry 3, and now the Rangers do.
And it sounded like, talking with Ron Washington before the game, that the Rangers' 2 catcher days are now over. He was just never really comfortable with the idea of DHing Mike Napoli if something had happened to Torrealba, and Napoli would then be pressed into duty. That's no longer an issue. So a much more standard looking roster for the Rangers now, as they now have, for the first time this year, a 7-man bullpen. 1-2 pitch hit well to left field. Cruz looking up, and it is gone. Howie Kendrick hits number 6, and the Angels get the first lead of the game.
Kendrick waited on a changeup that time, hit it high, and it carried just far enough to sneak over the wall in left field. Tried to throw it down and away, but that one comes middle part of the plate on the inner part of the plate. Difference between a swing and a miss or a ground ball or a home run is the distance between where the catcher's glove is and where the ball ended up. One of the few times that you'll see Matt early in the season make that kind of a mistake. Unfortunately, Kendrick was able to take advantage of it.
And for Howie Kendrick, a career month for homers already. Now it's up to 6, and all last year he hit a total of 10. So what a power stroke he's come out of camp with. And Harrison follows by falling 3-0 behind Torrey Hunter. And these days you want Torrey Hunter to be swinging. He's now 2 for his last 23 after flying out to end the first. He is not swinging away here at 3-0. Just the third gopher ball allowed by Matt this year. Hunter looks at strike 2 with a full count. The Angels, since starting 1-3, 10-3. And the Rangers have gone 5-6 since their 6-0 start. Nice comeback by Harrison from 3-0 down, and he gets his second strikeout of the night.
Well, Hunter saw 2 fastballs, 3-0 and 3-1. He took them both and then gets a changeup. That's the changeup he was trying to throw to Kendrick. Down and away. He got it up and in, and Kendrick was able to take advantage of it. But you can see what happens when you make the pitch you want with it. Not much.
Vernon Wells goes after the first pitch right to Napoli, unassisted for out number 2. And let's check in with Doxy.
All right, Dave. Hey, real quick, you know, the stadium in-house audio system final upgrade has taken place. Here's the guy behind it, Paul Gilman, of Stadium Sound. So Chuck Morgan now has a number of things at his display. What are we looking at here?
He has a vastly improved instrument. We gave him a Stradivarian violin up there now. What's happening now is we've made it more musical. We've taken it from just telling you things to letting you hear the pick on a guitar string and hear the full expansion of sound, which never been done before.
Now, you had to actually trace the sound before the first time in the stadium. You traced the sound and took it all through the stages. Explain that one.
We did. We went through the whole stadium, analyzed everything here, and repurposed the speakers to make them sing to you instead of yell at you.
Well, it sounds great. We'll hear Chuck Morgan as we go to a break. And we'll head to a break more with Texas Rangers and the Anaheim Angels right after this quick timeout.
Now, battling from behind after the Howie Kendrick home run has staked Jared Weaver to a 1-0 advantage, and he starts with a breaking pitch strike to Michael. Young struck out to end the first. Young, Beltran, Cruz here in the fourth inning. Weaver at 35 pitches, only 10 have missed the mark, and it's 0-2 here.
I want to thank Tracy Seiler from Carrollton, Texas, for sending up a lovely batch of chocolate covered pretzels. She sends a lot of things to the Ranger minor league players, cookies and encouraging notes, and the minor league players have nicknamed Tracy Mama T. So Mama T, thank you very much for the sweets. And also James Tex Hall, huge box of chocolate covered almonds. Thank you very much, James. We're in business for the next few days.
I hope she can send a little something, maybe the way of Mason Tobin and Eric Hurley.
Yeah.
Really disheartening events for those two this week. Hurley taking one hopper off the Temple a couple of days ago. And the word on Eric today, by the way, is that he has had a moderate concussion and a small skull fracture.
Boy, you talk about a kid that can't get a break. Wow.
3 surgeries last couple of years. Shoulder, 2 on his wrist. Hurley will not be allowed to travel from New Orleans till the end of the week, and his return to baseball activities is unknown, but we wish him the best. And Mason Tobin with a recurrence of his elbow miseries on the 60-day DL today. Ulnar ligament inflammation. Best to him as well. An opposite field bid. Long run for Torrey Hunter, and it slices back foul.
I don't think Torrey could have gotten there, even if it stayed fair. Nice present for the little girl.
Before last year, would you have thought that there was a player in baseball who could move Torrey Hunter out of center field?
Well, I don't think he could have moved Torrey Hunter out of center field when Torrey Hunter was a young center fielder, but I think looking at them both now, Torrey is probably more equipped to be a solid right fielder, and you've got the young legs out in center field that, you know, probably might make it a little easier for Torrey to play 155 games this year.
But he was working on that string of 9 straight Gold Gloves.
Yeah.
But,
you know, I think you just get to the point where a younger guy with more speed, and Borges runs faster than Hunter right now, there's no doubt about that, just makes them a better defensive team.
No speed required here. And time to ask our AT&T trivia question of the night. Elvis Andrus, one of 3 shortstops in Texas history to turn 5 double plays in the same game. That was Friday in New York. Name the other 2.
Now, the other thing about both Wells and Hunter, both of those guys could still play center field and do it very solidly. But you also now have a center fielder in left, a center fielder in right, which gives you excellent defense on the corners. And then you've got a young kid with tremendous athletic ability that, you know, potentially could be the same type of center fielder that Wells and Hunter have been their whole careers, and at the same time develop him for the future. So it has a lot of things going on there. You improve your team all the way around because Borges is quicker than both of those guys are at this stage of their careers, and you're developing the kind of kid that could become a frontline center fielder in the big leagues. At least based on what we've seen, there's no reason he can't become that. Watch out.
Almost hits Adrian, 1-1. Is it too early to talk about this Angel outfield in the same breath as the young Oakland outfield when Ricky Henderson, Dwayne Murphy, that group just came up?
You know, I think the one thing that you have with this outfield is you've just got 2 proven center fielders playing left field and right field. Guys that are really good ball players. They've been really good center fielders. And so experience-wise, I think you have to give the nod to this Angel team for sure. You know, Ricky was always a solid outfielder, but I don't think he was ever quite in the same league with either Wells or Torrey Hunter for that matter. And I really like what I've seen of Borges so far. So not just me, everybody does when you got that kind of an athlete.
Beltre thought he had a decent pitch to hit. He grounds out to Callaspo. Adrian 0 for 2 after seeing his 9-game hit streak snapped with an 0 for 4 last night. And with 2 outs, here's Nelson Cruz. Cruz, his first time up, got a 3-0 count, twice swung and missed at pitches normally in his wheelhouse, and then at 3-2 swung and missed again. The second of 3 Jared Weaver strikeouts.
The Angels definitely wanted to add some more offense. That's why they went out and traded for Vernon Wells. But I think one of the weaknesses in their team the last 3 years has been their defense in the outfield. And now it's a strength. And that in itself, I think, is the biggest improvement in the Angel team. That's going to make their pitching even better. You don't see those balls fall in the warning track right near the wall. You don't see balls bloop in front of outfielders now, not unless they're just uncatchable. If it goes up, and it should be caught, these 3 guys will get it.
Of course, most of baseball expected that Carl Crawford or Adrian Beltre, who knows, maybe even both would have ended up signing with Artie Moreno and the Angels last year. When neither happened, that's when they took on the huge contract of Vernon Wells in the trade with Toronto.
Sure. And if Carl Crawford was playing left field and Vernon Wells was still in Toronto, we'd be saying the same thing about the outfield. He's a terrific outfielder too.
Cruz unable to hold up on the breaking stuff in the dirt. He strikes out again, and the Rangers go in order. 3 of the first 4 innings, Weaver's faced the minimum 3. TNT trivia question just asked moments ago. Elvis Andrus, one of 3 shortstops in Ranger history to turn that many double plays. A-Rod twice, and Nelson Norman, Ranger shortstop, late 70s vintage.
I can remember when the Rangers traded for Nelson Norman. I think he was with Pittsburgh when he came over to the Rangers. He was a highly touted young shortstop, probably with the same reputation that Elvis Andrus had when he was a young player just getting to the big leagues. He didn't develop like Elvis is developing, but he was a highly touted young player.
Mark Trumbo settles in, as does Mark McLemore. We're joined by Mac here in the 5th inning. So far, it's a 1-pitch game. Kendrick gets an 0-2 and sneaks it over the wall.
One mistake, and that's usually what it takes. And, I kind of expected a game like this, not the blowout type of deal that went on last night, because you've got 2 excellent pitchers out there on the mound tonight.
Yeah, it's too bad Matt hasn't made a lot of mistakes tonight, and the one that he did make, Kendrick took advantage of it.
And Mac, Harrison tonight is, except for that 1 pitch, kind of being the same pitcher he's been all year. Ground balls, Sometimes having to battle back from behind in the count. Here he takes care of Trumbo, his third strikeout. Is this now a big enough sample that you can kind of assume this is now who Matt Harrison is?
I don't think you can assume that just yet. I mean, it's still early, his fourth start, but I like what we've seen so far, and I think he can keep this up. Now, mind you, he's not going to go out there every outing and just be lights out the way he's been so far, but as long as he keeps you in the game, and that's what he's doing right now against a very tough pitcher, I don't see why he can't continue pitching very well all year long.
You know, I think the key for the young pitchers is you can't hold them to a higher standard than you hold other pitchers. In other words, when Ogando gives up a couple of home runs in New York, you can't all of a sudden worry about Ogando when the next day you see that Roy Halladay gives up a couple of home runs and 6 runs in 6 innings. It can happen to any pitcher in the course of a season. You have to look at the overall body of work. And there will come a day where Matt gets a few balls up and people score off him. I think the difference with Matt now is we've seen streaks like this before. He had a 19-inning scoreless streak before.
David Murphy, a long run, and he can't get there. Peter Borges digging for 3, and he will make it without a throw. A 1-out triple. Mac, I talked with him before the game yesterday, and I asked him if he'd ever been timed in the 40-yard dash, and he said, no, I played football in high school. I said, you played high school football and you were never timed in the 40. That would never happen here. Well, he said it was a brand new program in Scottsdale. He's run a 60 for time, but never a 40. I would peg him at about a 4.2 or 4.3 if he were to actually be timed. Is he, from the sample you've seen, maybe the fastest player in baseball now?
I don't know. I think McCutcheon from Pittsburgh, he scoots pretty good. He can get around the bases pretty good. He's definitely one of the fastest. There's no doubt about it. If you blinked, you just missed him getting third base. And speed is deadly. I love watching guys run, and guys that can actually run. It's the only thing better than that is being able to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Which he did last night as well. So 1 out, and the infield playing in for Jeff Mathis.
The other impressive thing about Borges going home to third was how well he cut the bases. I mean, he hardly rounded the bases at all. He cut the corners perfectly.
And that's the key. You know, people think that you've got to be fast to be a good base runner, but it's really how you cut the bases that makes you a good base runner.
Squeeze is on, and it works. Everybody safe, and it is 2-0 Angels. Well, Ron Washington went to the suicide squeeze in the first game of this series in the 5th inning with Elvis Andrus. It worked to perfection then, and the same is true here for Jeff Mathis, bringing home Borges.
Just like with Elvis the other night, it doesn't take a perfect bunt. That bunt's right straight back to the pitcher, but with Borges' speed, there was nothing Matt was going to be able to do at home plate, that's for sure.
So that goes as a sac bunt, an RBI, and E1, Matt Harrison, not able to make the play.
And the E1 is not because he couldn't get Borges at the plate. It's because he couldn't get Mathis at first base. It would have been an easy out at first base. I think Matt looked like he was trying to shuffle the ball out of his glove to the catcher.
On the left side of the infield, Elvis Andrus takes charge for out number 2. Now watch third base coach Dino Ebel here.
And a sign to the hitter.
Now, if you look at that, you saw Beltre over there trying to eavesdrop and hear exactly what he was trying to say to the runner at third, Borges.
But the other side of it, Mac, is people will watch that and say, well, you watch the third base coach go over and talk to the runner. Didn't you know something was on? He does that on every single pitch. So you don't know what he's saying to the guy on third base. If you watched, I don't know how many pitches Mathis had seen before that, but he went over and talked to him every time anyway. so that you can't see him go over there once and go, oh, watch out, the squeeze play's on. Not that easy to decipher it.
Not at all. Usually he'll go over there and say, hey, I want to see what they're going to do. Let's see how, if they're going to play back or play in. And that's all he says and goes back to the box. So it's not always he's going over there saying, hey, the squeeze is on.
Right. He might go over and say, nothing's on. But I got to make it look good.
Well, in this inning, we've seen what a lot of people think are the two most exciting plays in baseball. Unfortunately, going against the Rangers, a lot of people say it's the triple. And I think I go with the squeeze. I mean, there's nothing like the suicide squeeze when you see it start to unfold. And then there's the moment where you wonder if it's going to work or not, if the bunt will be laid down or not.
I don't know. That squeeze play for me is anxiety. If you don't get it down, the runner coming home is out. So there's a little bit of anxiety. Now the triple, that's excitement. To see the guy running, is he going to make it? Is the outfielder going to get to the ball and cut it off and hit the cutoff man and make a perfect throw? That's exciting. But that squeeze play can be filled with anxiety, especially if you're the batter.
No, you're still talking from a player's vantage point.
Yes, I can't help it.
You're still remembering what it was like to get those signals, right?
I can't help it.
Yeah, I think the triple is exciting, but more exciting than a triple, inside the park home run.
There you go. That's it.
You don't see as many of them.
Not at all.
But even last night with Borges, even though it wasn't an inside the park home run, when the ball got by David Murphy, watching him go into second and wondering whether he was going to score, that's pretty exciting as well.
Well, Mike Maddox out for a chat as Howie Kendrick steps back in, having given the Angels the lead with a homer to left, leading off the fourth. And a real key moment here if he comes through again. Mathis at second, as Sturis at first after the 4-pitch walk. And Harrison not with his usual ball strike ratio, 39-32. Pitch number 72 is ball 2. So Matt, at the moment, has lost his feel for the strike zone. He's only walked 2 tonight. First one was Borges leading off the third, and he worked out of that. But again now he falls behind 3-0. And in danger of loading him up for Torrey Hunter.
Well, the good thing is he's got 2 outs, so you don't need a double play to get out of the inning. Just battle back. He's done it from a 3-0 count a few times.
One Angel not swinging away at 3-0. This is the 7th free ball count for Harrison in the game.
Now this is where we can see some maturity from Matt. Is he going to go back to what he would do last year when things got a little tight, or is he going to be able to work himself out of this situation?
So far so good.
I'm going to be interested to see what this next pitch is. Going 2 straight fastballs. And he's had a pretty good changeup to Hunter. It was 3-0. 2 fastballs to go to 3-2. He threw him a changeup to strike him out.
Oh, but he stumbled on delivery, and they are loaded. Back-to-back walks. Mathis down at third, is Sturis second, Kendrick aboard, and Torrey Hunter will step in. Our Coors Light freeze cam. He'll fade it. Changeup at 0-2 to Howie Kendrick back in the 4th inning. Hunter 2 for his last 24. First ball hitting. He's flied to left and struck out so far tonight. You see anything mechanically that he's dealing with?
Not mechanically. I just think he may have lost his release point, really. I think, the cold weather may have maybe affected him a little bit. But usually every pitcher has a little rough spot sometime during the game, and I think this is it for Matt. But I think he can work himself out of this.
Big rip by Hunter. What about him? Do you see mechanical issues with Torrey going as cold as he is?
Yeah, I don't think he's really getting into getting his head to the zone the way that he wants to. He might be pushing up a little bit and not staying back. I talked to him a little bit before the game, and he says he's starting to feel better in the box now. So he's trying to make sure that he stays behind the ball so he can get through it. But we don't want him to do that right now.
Crowd rising behind Harrison, and he finishes off Hunter. What could have been a...
There's your answer, Mac. The difference between this year and last year.
Absolutely.
He struggled and came back and got the big out.
Didn't allow the big inning.
What could have been a huge inning. The Angels settle for 1 run and leave him loaded. Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Steel and by Whataburger. Dave Barnett, Tom Grieve, joined again by Mark McLemore for the bottom of the 5th inning. Murphy, Napoli, and Moreland as the Rangers now trail Jared Weaver and the Angels by 2. But Mac, we're talking during the inning about the escape ability of Matt Harrison, keeping that to just a 1-run inning.
And that's big. I mean, you know, when pitchers get in trouble, they've got to be able to work themselves out of it. And that's the sign of a young pitcher maturing and understanding what he has to do. He has to make pitches when he has to make them to get the outs that are necessary to keep it from being, you know, from letting the game get out of hand. And it very well could have going through the middle of the Angels lineup right there.
Meanwhile, the Rangers have managed 3 base hits off of Jared Weaver. They had their best chance in the 3rd when Moreland doubled with 1 out. Torrealba dumped a bloop single in the shallow center field. Moreland had a hold at second base. Not sure if Borges would be able to make the catch. And then he came back to strike out Ian Kinsler and get a fielder's choice grounder off the bat of Elvis Andrus. Still 2-2 to Murphy, who flied to left his first time up. What would your approach be if you had to hit against Jared Weaver at this point in his career?
I want to look for something out over the plate and try and take him over the shortstop's head, because that's where I'm hitting left-handed. I don't want to try to get anything inside and pull it, because he can work both sides of the plate, as we see right there.
My approach as a right-hand hitter would be to tell the manager I got a stomach ache.
Put a lefty in there.
You trying to win? Put a left-hand hitter in there.
Strong case of Jareditis.
You know, for the first year I got called up to the big leagues, I was with the Senators, and we were playing in Anaheim, and Andy Messersmith was pitching. I'd never faced him, and for some reason Ted Williams had me in the lineup, and Tim Cullen, our second baseman, came up to me about 10 minutes before the game, and he said, Tom, are you a team player? And I said, yeah. He said, then go tell Ted you're sick, because you don't have any chance of getting a hit off Andy Messersmith. Unfortunately, he was right, but, you know, no player's going to go up and tell that to the manager. You take your medicine and do your best. But Yeah, the kind of hitter I was, this guy would just give me fits as a right-hand hitter.
5 tonight, and now leads the American League, and in fact both leagues with 36. Tim Lincecum at 32, led by 1 before the game. Weaver is in that group that included Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, maybe the best I saw, at getting you to swing at strike 3 out of the strike zone.
Well, he's deceptive in his delivery, turns his back on the hitter, arms flying, legs flying, and he's got great command of all pitches. All his pitches are above average pitches. Doesn't throw a lot of curveballs, but he throws a lot of changeups.
Tried to see if Napoli might go for that one in the dirt. His former catcher, seen that pitch before.
You know, what makes a guy like this so tough is just the fact that you don't know what he's going to throw.
No.
He's long and lanky, deceptive, and like Tag said, he turns his back to you, and then all of a sudden he looks like he's throwing a fastball, and it's a changeup. And it makes it very, very difficult to pick a pitch up. You don't pick the ball up until it's really late, and it looks like it's right on you. Even the changeup looks like it's right on you.
Yeah. You know, they say that pitching is trying to disrupt the timing of the hitter, and nobody does it better than Weaver.
Napoli puts a charge into that one. Hunter is back and had room in front of the wall.
Well, it looked good coming off the bat. Unfortunately, it went to the deepest part of right field. And Hunter was playing fairly deep with Napoli up there and still gets a great jump on the ball. Ran it down without much of a problem.
Well, definitely the most hittable pitch of that at bat, and Mike was almost on it enough.
It was a very good pitcher's pitch. I mean, it wasn't down the middle of the plate. It was still to the outer part of the plate, and that's a pretty good pitch. I mean, he hit it well, but it was an out, so it goes down really as a great pitch.
Off-speed strike 1 to Moreland, who has the only extra base hit for the Rangers tonight. Second straight night with a double. And that one is skied out to shallow right field. Kendrick out, and Hunter comes in and calls him off, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Jared Weaver. Always good to visit with you, Mark McLemore. We look forward to Rangers Live with you after the game.
Sounds good, guys.
The scoring started with a Howie Kendrick leadoff home run in the 4th inning. He already has 6 after 10 all last season, and then in the 5th, Peter Borges drove a 1-out triple to the wall in right center field. And the next batter, Jeff Mathis executing the suicide squeeze. Only 2 base hits off of Matt Harrison. Both extra base hits. That brought to you by Corona. And Tom, that was a suicide squeeze, even though you didn't see Borges immediately take off for the play.
No, and the key to the runner on a squeeze play is you can't leave.
Harrison handles the little dribbler off the bat of Wells.
You can't leave for home until the pitcher's front foot hits the ground, which is right about the same time he's delivering the ball. That way there's no way that the catcher or the pitcher can see the play and allow them to throw a pitch out. A safety squeeze is when the runner at third waits to see where the bunt is and then decides whether or not to run. Now watch Borges. He's going to wait till Matt's front foot hits the ground. Here he comes. Now, if the batter didn't bunt the ball, even though Borges left right when he let go of the ball, he's still going to be a dead duck at third base because he'd started to sprint home before the ball ever got to the catcher. And if the batter had missed the ball, he would have been out. On a safety squeeze, if the batter doesn't bunt, the runner's not going, and so he just goes back to third base. That's the difference between a safety squeeze, which is just basically a bunt with a man on third base, and the third base runner decides whether or not he can score or not. On a suicide squeeze, he has to go.
Callaspo sends Nelson Cruz backpedaling out in left field.
And then the pressure is on the hitter to make contact with the ball.
Well, Jeff Mathis didn't have a single sacrifice bunt until tonight, and he's been called upon twice.
Yeah.
And both times he's gotten it done.
I think the game itself, who the pitchers are, the score of the game kind of dictates what a manager will do. So even there might be a manager who doesn't like to bunt, is always the manager looking for a big inning. There still comes a game where it makes sense to do that. Mike Scioscia, just like Ron Washington, the kind of managers that manage the game based on what the situation is and what the game calls for, as Wash likes to say.
Nice job by Napoli, digging out another errant throw by Elvis, and it's a 6-pitch, 6th inning for Matt Harrison. Sonic Slam inning brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot worth $1,500 and dinner for two at the Sonic Drive-In. And tonight the Rangers are hitting for Fran Hundley of Garland. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, Fran Hundley from Garland will win $25,000. You can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. Yorvit Torrealba, one of the 3 Ranger hits off of Jared Weaver. That bloop single out to shallow center, on which Moreland had to hold at second base after his double. That was the last Ranger hit, the last Ranger base runner, as a matter of fact, as Weaver has retired 8 straight. And it's going to be 9 as Kendrick handles the little roller. Jared Weaver is really efficient tonight. 67 pitches through 5 1/3 innings.
Yeah, that's one of the tough things about this game is how low his pitch count is. There are times where you've got a great pitcher on the mound, and whether it's Verlander or Weaver or whoever it might be, you can get up to 110 or 115 pitches after 6 innings and maybe even 7 innings. You at least get a better shot at their bullpen. But Weaver right now is on pace to have no problems.
He's
pitching
averaging
into the 8th or 9th inning.
Averaging 13 pitches per inning. Matt Harrison 16 pitches per inning. Not bad at all.
Yeah, I think to me the best inning for Matt was the inning he threw the 28 pitches, because that is a learning experience. He walked a couple of guys, might have lost his command there for a little bit for 8 or 10 pitches. He got it back, struck out Torrey Hunter, got out of the inning with only 1 run, minimized the damage. That might not have been as easy for him to do in the past. And then he comes right out and has a 6 or 7 pitch inning, 1, 2, 3, and right back in the dugout, right back on track. So I think that was as good an example of the improvement that you see in Matt this year as you can imagine early in the year.
And Emily Jones has more about Matt Harrison.
Well, just like you guys were talking about, he had a great quote coming into this game, and he said, "The last time I faced these guys, I was nitpicking and scared to throw over the plate, but not anymore." And I think it speaks to exactly what you guys were just talking about.
Yeah, good point. I mean, it's not that you say, okay, I'm not afraid to throw a strike. Here it is. I'm going to throw it right down the middle. It's just he's got the confidence that he can make all his pitches work, throw them all for strikes. He's much more aggressive now, much more confident, and the hitter can sense that. When a hitter is at the plate and you sense that the pitcher's a little bit nervous, you compare Weaver to Matt Harrison tonight. Both of them pitching excellent games. Weaver hasn't given up a run yet. When the hitter senses that you're a little bit nervous and you're a little bit afraid out there, it just gives him more confidence. But when he sees a pitcher with that look on his face who's coming right at you with his best stuff, then the pitcher takes the advantage over the hitter. That's where Matt is right now.
And there's strikeout number 6, and Tom, another strike 3 when he gets you to pull the trigger on a pitch out of the strike zone.
Yeah, that's his slider, down and away. You know, even with a great pitcher, you might get a pitch to hit every at bat. The problem is you better hit that one, because that might be the only one you see.
Well, he struck out Ian twice now. Andrus had the first Ranger hit, an infield single in the first inning, was then picked off first base. And he came up with 2 on and 2 out in the third and grounded into a fielder's choice. We talked at the outset about the job those two have been doing, igniting the Ranger offense this series at the top of the order. Not so far here, and a very confused looking stroke that time by Elvis.
It's just a good breaking ball. Located right where he wanted it.
There's a solid base hit. One hop to Torrey Hunter out in right field, and Elvis Andrus has himself a multi-hit evening.
He's able to fight off that fastball up and in and drive it into right field for a base hit. Weaver threw that pretty much where he wanted it. After 2 pitches, breaking balls down and away, he threw the fastball in, and Elvis was able to handle it anyway.
Elvis told me when the series was unfolding after his struggles with the bat on the road trip that he was pulling off pitches too much, not staying with it, not getting balls up the middle or to right field, and we've really seen him make that adjustment this series. Michael Young, likewise, opposite field, fair ball. Elvis around third, and the shutout is over on an RBI double by Michael Young.
How quickly it can happen. 2 pitches. Weaver's pitching a shutout, no walks, 6 strikeouts, a harmless base hit to right, and then a well-placed blooper down the right field line by Michael, and all of a sudden the tying runs in scoring position. And the Rangers are in business with the middle of the order coming up.
A pitch I don't think the Rangers had seen yet tonight, a hanging breaking ball down the middle. And for Young, his 9th run batted in. 9 doubles, 1 off Carlos Quentin's American League lead. And here's Adrian Beltre with a chance to tie the game with 2 outs. Beltre tonight is grounded out twice on the left side of the infield. All time against Weaver, he is now 8 for 44. We've seen Adrian Beltre over the last several games really get cranking, averaging just off an RBI per game, and tied for the American League run batted in lead coming into this one. 2 outs and runners in scoring position. The Rangers trail only the Baltimore Orioles. At home with runners in scoring position, the Rangers are hitting a robust .338.
Well, Weaver got 2 quick outs. Struck out Ian. Nice 2-out rally going right here. Now he's behind Beltre.
Nelson Cruz on deck. He has struck out both times. Oh, and he goes off speed. Beltre unable to pull the trigger, and it's a full count. A knee buckler. That'll be foul, and we'll have to do it all over again.
And what you see right there is tying run at second base. Fastball, that's not 89 or 90. This is 92. That's his best he's got right there. And he's saying, here it is, big guy. And he's both the 5th and the 6th pitch. Both fastballs, both in the center of the plate. Both velocity-wise, the best ones he's thrown the whole game. That's a excellent pitcher, reaching back for all he's got, going right after the hitter. Adrian's hanging in there, battling them all the way, hoping to get another one.
Under it and foul again.
Now, it's interesting to watch Weaver in this situation. You've seen such an assortment of off-speed pitches. Yet in this position, first base is open, so he's not going to be the end of the world for Weaver if he walks him. But it's been 3 straight fastballs.
Strikeout leader against the RBI leader. And this should end the inning as Eric Ibar drifts out into short left. The Rangers break through with their first run on 2 hits, 1 left, and we head to the 7th. It's 2-1. Southwest brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. On to the 7th. Michael Young makes this a one-run game. And the bottom third of the order against Matt Harrison. He has yet to retire Peter Borges, who walked leading off the third, was stranded at third, tripled with one out in the 5th, and was squeezed home by Jeff Mathis.
Borges last night, he struck out the first time up, then had 2 singles, a home run, and a double. So he was 4 for 4 in his last 4 at bats. He's been on both times tonight with a walk and a triple, so he's on a pretty good streak.
Borges last night 4 hits, scored 3 times, both career bests. A homer, 3 runs batted in, all that from the 9-hole. Developing offense to go with the obvious defensive gifts. But, seeing some pretty good pitches here from Harrison, who is now at a pitch count of 90. And the Angels still with only the 2 base hits. The other being the Howie Kendrick leadoff home run in the 4th. Angels going for their 4th straight series win and a 5-1 road trip. They began this trip by sweeping the White Sox in Chicago over the weekend. And sole possession of first place. They have not had that since last June 7th. Call strike 3.
That's a perfectly located fastball, right where he wanted it. Right at the knees, right on the inside corner.
It's a new season for your lawn. Visit your local Lowe's for savings and a free MLB fan guide. Compliments of Scott's.
You can see Matt deliver that ball right where the catcher put his glove. Well, if Scott's is what's making our field green, they're doing a great job.
Boy, no kidding.
Early in the season, you can't ask for a better looking field.
A couple of Ranger infielders I've talked to say this is far and away the thickest infield grass they have yet played on. Helps ground ball pitcher like Matt Harrison into the gap, and it perfectly splits Murphy and Moreland out there in right center field. And Jeff Mathis continues a very productive night with a 2-bagger. This after his first 2 sacrifices of the year. The second, of course, being that the suicide squeeze in the 5th inning. Harrison leaving that one out over the plate. And as Eric Ibar prepares to step in, Darren O'Day, the former Angel, begins to loosen. We showed you the pitch counts in the first 3 Harrison starts this year, all over 100 pitches. He's at 94 right here. Eric Ibar has returned from the disabled list tonight, 0 for 2. He's grounded to second and popped to short. On the season now 5 for 14. Earlier, Jim Knox was talking with Paul Gilman about the new stadium sound, which has now been completed here at Rangers Ballpark. An upgrade of the entire in-park audio system, completed when the Rangers were on the road, and being utilized for the first time during this series. When you come out here, I really think you'll notice it. It is second to none. Absolute state of the art. Listening to Chuck Morgan and all that he provides over the PA system here. Going with the upgrade of the video screens, and bringing this park up to state of the art condition. Eric Ibar out of Bonnie in the Dominican Republic. Angels signed him at age 18 in 2002.
Brother Willie, longtime major leaguer as well. Harrison just missing again. 3 balls and a strike. Chuck Morgan hard at work. And maybe playing a little Scrabble as well. Probably not. Another good crowd today. Good walk-up crowd. Rangers attendance is well in the upper half of the American League so far this year. You would expect after the results of last year. And a real oddity in the season series between these two teams. The Rangers do not go to Anaheim until after the All-Star break,
so
July 19th.
It seems like the schedule used to be home and home in April, sometime late June, early July, and then in September. Weird how they do that this year.
Very heavily backloaded in favor of the Angels, getting the Rangers at home toward the end of the year. And as a matter of fact, at the very end of the year, July 19th through the 21st, August 15th through the 18th, and the regular season will close for the Rangers in Anaheim, September 26th through the 28th.
Yeah, I love that part of the schedule. 3 against Oakland, 3 against Seattle, and 3 against the Angels.
Pitch number 100 for Harrison, right back to him. And he retires Ibar for the 3rd time tonight. 2 outs in the 7th inning.
Another good job of being behind in the count, coming back and getting the hitter. A little weakly hit tapper back to the mound. Ran it in on the fist, jammed him. Take your time, make sure you field the ball, take your step, throw it accurately to first base.
So Mathis still at second, and now with 2 outs, back again to the top of the order, and Maicer Izturis. Izturis 0 for 2. Last time up he walked on 4 pitches. Dangerous here. Career .323 hitter with runners in scoring position.
And if Matt can get his Izturis, it'll be 4 straight times with at least 7 innings. As well as Weaver has pitched this year, without trying to compare them, he hasn't been able to pitch 7 innings in every start.
Izturis from another baseball family, his half-brother Cesar. Veteran player. And he's right at the top now, along with Alex Gordon of the Royals in hits. Starting the day, leading the league with his .388 batting average as well. And on the road, tearing it up, .438. It's had a terrific road trip. Homer last night in 3 trips, 2 walks. Before that, 4 straight multi-hit games and 3 straight 3-hit games in that stretch. Harrison trying to keep him hitless tonight. And that one just missing. It's 3 balls and a strike. And Harrison all too aware that the on-deck hitter is Howie Kendrick, who has taken him deep already once tonight. Here comes back, gets the ground ball. Beltre can only deflect it into shallow left field, and coming around to score from second base is Mathis. A bit of good fortune for the Angels, who now lead 3-1.
Yeah, and the only reason that happened is because of the excellent range that Beltre has. The steps he took, the dive he took, allows him to make contact with the ball where most third basemen don't get to that ball. It couldn't quite make it stick in the end of his glove. It just ticked off the end of his glove, and that's what allowed Mathis to come around and score.
He has gobbled up everything that's been sent his way
all season long so far. Not that one, and it will be the final pitch thrown tonight by Matt Harrison. Only the 4th base hit against him as Asturis gets the RBI single, and we get Darren O'Day when we return. Day comes on in charge of getting the last out of the 7th inning in a game that is now again a 2-run game for the Angels. You look at O'Day's numbers this year after a very rocky spring. Tommy seems to be getting his stuff back, the break on his slider and the ability to keep the ball low.
I think the main thing for Darren was just to get out of Arizona, where it didn't seem to be working that well as far as getting the sink on his fastball and the break on his slider, and it has been better. He had one little stretch where he had some command problems and walked a couple of hitters, but all in all, I agree. Stuff does look better. Been a huge part of the Rangers bullpen the last couple of years, and Rangers certainly need him to be the same pitcher for him this year.
Kendrick got this scoring started tonight, leading off the 4th with a home run, just snuck it over the wall out in left field. O'Day pitched in the first game of the series, a scoreless 8th inning Monday, threw only 10 pitches after not having worked for the previous 5 days. In the road trip, he took the walk-off loss 8 days ago at Detroit, loaded the bases with 2 outs in the 9th inning, and then Miguel Cabrera had the hard ground single through the hole to win that one for the Tigers. The only decision so far for Darren. 28-year-old from Jacksonville, Florida. O'Day originally signed as an undrafted free agent in 2006 by the Angels. 2 years later, he was up for 30 appearances as an Angel. 0-1, a .457 earned run average. Went to the Mets as a Rule 5 draftee December of 08. 4 games with New York in 09, and claimed on waivers by the Rangers. One of the best waiver claims in recent baseball history. Here goes Asturis, and the throw by Torrealba bounces in late.
Yep, Torrealba had no chance. He had to try to make the play from his knees, get rid of it as quickly as he could. Still got something on the ball, made a pretty good throw. That one, Asturis just had that one stolen on Darren.
Not bad accuracy throwing from your left knee. But just no way to get enough on it. So Asturis gets himself into scoring position with 2 outs and a run already in with his 3rd swipe of the year. Pitch was a strike. And the 1-2 hits Kendrick.
Wow, you very rarely see O'Day miss much inside or outside either one. If he misses, it's usually low or high. I don't know if I've ever seen a pitch get away that far in from him.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to throw in for a strike either. That one just got away from him.
So Kendrick aboard the hard way. And with 2 men on, the struggling Torrey Hunter 0 for 3 tonight. Last 2 times up, Harrison struck him out. 2 of Matt's 5 6 2/3 innings. Gets a piece of that one, though. Cruz chases it down in the corner, and O'Day does the job. But the Angels in the 7th, a run on 2 hits and 2 men left. Stretch time at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, 3-1. .com at bat 11 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get spring training scores. I guess that should be regular season scores now. Stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit TexasRangers.com for details. 1 pitch, and Nelson Cruz pops out to Eric Ibar to begin the Rangers' 7th inning. Jared Weaver at 86 pitches has allowed 1 run on 5 hits. And the final numbers for Matt Harrison tonight: 6 2/3, 3 runs all earned, only 4 hits. He struck out 5, walked 3 through 105 pitches. Breaking ball strike to Murphy, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Weaver a strikeout per inning, sitting on 6. That one chasing Borges back deep into center field, and he climbs the wall to bring it down.
That's some kind of play right there. Talk about a great jump, great speed, fearless of the wall, and jumped up into the wall. You'll be able to watch that a few times tonight on any show that shows highlights. That's a great play right there. He takes a look, he knows where the wall is, and he gives it up right into the wall and comes down with the ball. What a play. The kid has a chance to be some kind of player, boy. There's nothing he can't do on the field.
Fan thought he had himself a souvenir. That
might
close.
be the same kid that caught one the other night.
Borges talking about the wind that was howling here Monday night. Rangers got a couple of wind-blown home run balls for Beltre and Moreland, and he played those as if he fully expected to make the same play he was able to make here on David Murphy with the rear north wind blowing out. No jet stream. One of the few times you'll see in the course of the
average year at Rangers ballpark in Arlington. Jared Weaver thinking he just served up a pitch that was going to make it a one-run game again. Good breaking ball, and it's 1-2 to Napoli. Well, Torrey Hunter did that by estimates at least 36 times over the course of his years in center field, and those plays are still going to be made. Borges again is chased back, and he can't catch up to this one. Napoli has a 2-out double.
Napoli's hit a couple of balls hard the last 2 times up. That one Borges couldn't catch. The one before it, Torrey Hunter ran down in right center field on the warning track. A couple of good at-bats for Napoli. Back-to-back good at-bats for the Rangers.
Might actually been a little bit above the strike zone. Napoli went up and got it. There's some stirring around now out of the Angel bullpen.
And Borges gave this a pretty good shot too. Almost ran that one down.
Our first visit from the Angels pitching coach Mike Butcher, as they've got a little bit to discuss here. 2 outs. And with Napoli in scoring position, Mitch Moreland will be the batter. He doubled his first time up and last time flied out to right field. 1 for 2 tonight and 4 for 10 lifetime against Weaver, with 2 solo home runs and a double, 3 extra base hits. A lot of players have been battling Weaver 4, 5, 6 years or more. Don't have numbers like Mitch Moreland already has put it together just since late last year. No one throwing yet in the Angel pen, but there's a little stirring around at least. Ranger bullpen quiet after Darren O'Day came in to get the last out of the top half of the 7th. And Weaver starts by trying to work Moreland away. Mitch's double was his 7th of the year. He's top 5 in the American League. That one finds the bottom of the zone. Where he was aiming with his first pitch, and he nailed it down there. 1-2. Rangers out hitting the Angels now 6-4.
Yeah, that one, Mitch had a pretty good beef on that one. That one a little bit out of the strike zone.
Minor league umpire John Tumpane calling balls and strikes tonight. That one bounces away, but Napoli will have to stay put. Jeff Mathis scrambled after it quickly. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Weaver trying to put the Angels sole possession of first place over the Rangers. They had it March 31st because they played a day before the Rangers opened the season this year. But before that, not since June 7th have the Rangers been out of first, at least with a tie, and the count now full to Moreland. Rangers last night with the loss, ending their best home start ever at 7-0. Before that, their last regular season defeat here was in the home finale of the regular season last year against these Angels.
Change up.
Got him off speed. Strikeout number 7. And the Rangers lead Napoli at second base as we go to the 8th, still 3-1. tempo presents doing more on defense. How much more could you do than Peter Borges climbing the wall out in center to rob David Murphy? Much to the delight of the pitcher he bailed out there, Jared Weaver. 8th inning. And Wells, Cayaspo, and Trumbo.
I think there's already been 2 or 3 plays made in this series by the Angel outfielders that probably wouldn't have been made last season. It's one thing to add to your offense to get more runs, but when you make your defense better and give up fewer runs, you pretty much accomplish the same thing.
Wells has put together an encouraging 5-game hitting streak. Maybe on the line here.
That one is deep. Cruz turns and watches it sail out of here. And Vernon Wells finally has his first home run of the 2011 season, his first as an Angel. Remember last year, he was peppering the Rangers with long balls all season long. He had 8 in 10 games with Toronto against Ranger pitching.
You see Darren's trying to throw that ball away, but the movement on it started right on the corner, but the movement brings it back to the center of the plate.
.371 feet, the estimated distance, as Wells sails one into the left field corner. I said he wasn't seeing the ball earlier when he was mired in a 4 for 35 slump, about as deep as he's ever been in his terrific career.
He's seeing things fine now, it would appear.
And the Angels now have built a 3-run lead. Nothing yet so far from Alberto Cayaspo, who came in as the number 8 hitter in the American League at .339. The Rangers in the 8th will have Torrealba, and then the top of the order, Kinsler and Andrews. Jared Weaver has thrown 97 pitches through 7. That home run, just the 5th hit tonight for the Angels. But they've been specializing in the extra base hit. They have only 1 single, and it was an RBI single by Asturias in the 7th. And in Wells' career as a Ranger killer, his 15th home run over the years against Texas pitching. Just amazing it took as long as it did to get his first of his Angel career. O'Day at 2-2 almost got Cayaspo on a pitch that ended up low, a full count. This was a scoreless game through 3 innings. We had the pitching matchup we anticipated. Harrison against Weaver. 3-0 against 4-0. Angels broke through with a leadoff homer in the 4th by Kendrick. And they have had single runs in 4 of the last 5 innings now, all but the 6th. Call strike 3. O'Day's first strikeout. Cayaspo now 0 for 4.
Well, let's see where the pitch was. Not exactly where he was trying to throw it, but definitely a strike. Not sure where Cayaspo thought that pitch was. Definitely wasn't low. Another good game for Matt Harrison. He won't have a chance to win it, but he pitched almost 7 innings. Couldn't quite get the last out. 6 2/3. He'll give up 3 runs in the ball game, but he battled and did another nice job tonight.
He held Mark Trumbo in check, 0 for 3.
And definitely pitched well enough to win a lot of games. Pitch like that every time out with a Ranger offense, and you're going to have an outstanding season.
First time for Matt in 4 starts now not to go at least 7 innings, and he missed by only 1 out, and to give up more than 1 run. Ranger bullpen now active again. Pedro Strop begins to throw. And O'Day hits his second batter. He's faced 5. And the first one was Howie Kendrick. He hit him with a 1-2 pitch in the back of his thigh. And he gives Trumbo.
I think you're just seeing Darren struggle with his command. The last couple of years, you just didn't see opportunities like this in a ball game for Darren when he would throw pitches that far out of the strike zone. Pretty much had pinpoint command. And right now he's had a little bit of a problem with his command.
There goes Trumbo, and the throw by Torrealba late and off the bag. Trumbo with great power led the Niners with 36 home runs last year. Shows he can run as well. After taking that one, it looked like pretty close to the funny bone.
Now Darren, with his delivery, takes a little while to deliver the ball to the plate and gives the runner an opportunity to get a little bit of a head start. Puts a lot of pressure on the catcher.
Well, Peter Borges, another big night. Tripled and scored in the 5th. And saved well, at least a double. It might have been a home run. It might have that ball off the bat of David Murphy looked like it might have bounced off the top of the wall and over. If Borges hadn't been able to do that spectacular bit of wall climbing out there in center field. With all his gifts, he says it is so nice to be able to get help sometimes pitch by pitch out in center field from Wells and Hunter. Good breaking ball from O'Day. He says they can signal him to move a step this way or a step that way, pitch by pitch, so he's always getting the best possible preparation, the best education, while the game is actually unfolding for him out there in center field. Two and two. And this will be our Brown Hand Center great hands play tonight.
Very pleasing play for the pitcher, that's for sure. Thought he might have given up a home run right there. Probably would have if Borges didn't go back and glove it.
O'Day almost got him reaching there. It's 3 and 2. Borges came up and took over center field beginning August 3rd last year. Played just enough that he does not qualify as a rookie this year. He was the rookie of the year last year in the Pacific Coast League before he was called up. He had already put together that kind of season at Salt Lake. And O'Day gets him to strike out. 2 outs here. The 8th, both on strikeouts.
That's a little bit better for Darren. That's where he wants to locate that slider. Make it tempting enough for the batter to swing and make it break far enough outside where it can't make contact with it.
We're just way out in front of that one. Strikes out for the 2nd straight time. And Ron Washington appears ready to go to Pedro Strop to deal with Jeff Mathis. Boy, for a 182 hitter, what a thorn Jeff Mathis was tonight for Matt Harrison. His first 2 sacrifice bunts of the year. The second, a successful suicide squeeze, scoring Borges, and then he doubled and scored in the 7th inning. Pedro Strop making his way in.
This is a 4-1 ball game. As part of our Fox Sports Supports charitable initiative, we are proud to wear these pins during the season to support Stand Up to Cancer and their work to fund groundbreaking research that helps accelerate treatment to patients. For more information, please visit standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports. Jeff Mathis with Mark Trumbo at second base. Looks at a first pitch down a little bit low. Pedro Strop, in his first 5 outings, yet to be scored on in 4 2/3. A perfect 9th inning Monday night to finish off C.J. Wilson's victory, throwing only 8 pitches. He's faced 19 batters and struck out 7 of them. He has missed low and high to Mathis. The issue with Pedro, whenever he's been brought up to the Rangers, has always been command. He has also issued a walk in 3 of his first 5 outings. Last 2, though, he's retired all 4 batters he's faced. And he should get Mathis here as Murphy comes in to put away out number 3. The Angels get another run on the first home run of the season by Vernon Wells. Jared Weaver, who is 6 outs away from going 5-0 on the season. Here in the 8th, he's got Torrealba, Kinsler, and Andrews. And he's been staked to a 3-run lead. Torrealba, one of the 6 Ranger hits off of Weaver. Torrealba facing Weaver for the first time ever tonight. Last night, Yorkie jumped all over that one, sent it just barely fair off the left field foul pole for his second home run as a Ranger. And his first RBI since his first home run, a 2-run shot, game 2 of the year against Boston. Coors Light cold hard shot. And Weaver now past triple digits at 101 pitches, 68 strikes, only 33 balls. He has not walked a batter. And a rocket flag down by Callaspo at third. Boy, Tom, as good as Weaver has been, how about the defense behind him tonight?
He's had good defense, and the Rangers, you know, he's a great pitcher, and he's pitched a nice game tonight. The Rangers have hit some balls hard that have been caught. There's one that could easily have been a leadoff double down the left field line. Callaspo is playing back, and is able to spear it, take an extra base hit away from him. We've already seen the one Borges made on David Murphy several times. Napoli hit a ball deep to right center field.
Kinsler, after striking out his last 2 times up, skies that one to Kendrick. And Weaver gets 2 quick outs here in the 8th. And let's check in with Jim Knotts.
All right, Dave, real quick time for the progressive fan of the game. It has to be 11-year-old Emily, new Ranger fan. Her mom, Jill, is here to tell us what happened this morning.
Emily wanted nothing more for her birthday than to come to a Ranger game. We had said no, we couldn't do it. This morning at 5, we woke her up, told her to get dressed. I handed her a jersey and said, we got a game to get to.
Now, you guys actually flew in from California. She's a big Mike Napoli fan. You got his autograph before the game. Here's the progressive bag, the shirt, the hat. I know it only gets better for you, Emily. What do you have to say?
I love Mike Napoli and the Rangers.
There we go. All right, happy birthday. Way to go, Dave.
All right, happy birthday indeed. Well, here's Elvis Andrus, who has 2 of the Rangers' 6 hits off of Weaver. An infield hit in the first, singled and scored the Ranger run in the 6th inning with 2 outs. Doubled home by Michael Young. Rangers still out hitting the Angels 6-5. Darren O'Day pitched a very strange inning. Struck out 2, hit 2 batsmen, and served up the first home run as an Angel by Vernon Wells. Weaver still with that sharp breaking ball.
And Neftali Felice is warming up in the bullpen. And I think what you saw last inning when Ron Washington came out to take Darren O'Day out of the game, Darren could easily have continued to pitch and get that last out. But I think with an off day tomorrow, he wanted Pedro Strop just to get in a game, get the feel of a game, get some pitches under his belt. And Felice hasn't pitched in a while, and he wants to get him an inning with an off day tomorrow to keep him sharp, too. I don't think he worries as much about his 2 left-handers, Darren Oliver and Arthur Rhodes. They're veteran guys, and I think Ron treats them almost like any time he can get an off day, he'll take it, no matter how many there are, that they know how to be ready to pitch, even if they've had 4 or 5 days without pitching, and the rest will benefit them the most.
There's strikeout number 8, 1 per inning tonight from Weaver. The Rangers again go in order, and we head to the 9th. It's 4-1. Sponsor of youth baseball leagues in your community. Go to ChevyYouthBaseball.com for a chance at winning a home field makeover. Here in the 9th, a very well-rested Neftali Felice comes on to work to Ibar, Isturis, and Kendrick. Felice
hasn't gotten into a game since he racked up his 5th save of the season in as many tries Friday night to start the Yankees series. Gave up his first run in that game on a couple of base hits. A-Rod double, an RBI single by Eric Chavez in that game. But you see his glittering numbers as he comes in badly in need of some work with the off day tomorrow. Ibar is returned from the DL 0 for 3 tonight. And a 91-mile-an-hour fastball is hit high and deep to center field, but Murphy with room in front of the crowd. And Tom, it is worth mentioning that the off day tomorrow is the last for 3 weeks for the Rangers. They will play 20 straight dates until their next off day, which is not until May 12th.
Yeah, I think going through May 11th, that's as few off days as I remember having. Generally, you get a few extra off days in April just in case there's bad weather. And so that'll be a tough stretch, that many consecutive games. Good test for the bullpen, good test for the starters, and important games too. Interdivision games. Go to Oakland 4. Oakland comes here for 3. Angels again, Yankees again. Tough stretch of games.
The Royals in Friday night for the first of 3. Derek Holland against Jeff Francis, matchup of lefties. Saturday night, Alexi Ogando against Kyle Davies. And then Easter Sunday, it'll be C.J. Wilson and Bruce Chen, both unbeaten. C.J. 2-0 after his win over the Angels Monday, and Bruce Chen off to a 3-0 start with a .242 earned run average. Kansas City Royals 11-6 out of the gate, although they trail the Indians tonight 6-2 in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1 game behind Cleveland in the American League Central. And that is what the Rangers will be behind the Angels if they can't come up with a 9th inning rally. Again, the Rangers have not been out of at least a share of first place since last June 7th. Call strike 3, and Asturis is rung up for out number 2. The 8th strikeout for Ranger pitching tonight.
So good movement on that fastball, tailing down and away. This tourist didn't like the call.
You add it up, and the Rangers have been in first place most of the time by themselves for 137 of the last 138 days, with the exception of March 31st, where the Angels opened 1 day ahead of the Rangers. Both 11-6 coming into this game. Howie Kendrick, who got the scoring started with a leadoff home run in the 4th inning off Matt Harrison. Career high 6 for the month of April. And only 4 off of his total from all of last year. And this after he went 0 for 6 last night. He had no part in the 15 runs on 15 hits. Well, for being off as long as he has been, Feliz looking sharp.
Yeah, this is the kind of tune-up you want to see, hopefully. Get out of 1 inning with less than 15 pitches. Last thing you want is a long inning.
And that one is foul, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. In the Ranger ninth, 3, 4, and 5 due up. Young, Beltre, and Cruz. We'll see if Mike Scioscia allows Jared Weaver to go for the complete game, or if he calls on the Fort Worth native and Mansfield product, Jordan Walden, his new closer. He's just outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jordan Walden telling me before the game he was really surprised when he was tapped to take over the closer role.
Well, he's kind of in the same position that Felice was in last year. Young pitcher, didn't start on opening day as the closer, but he's got the same kind of stuff as Felice. His fastball might consistently be a little higher than Felice. He reaches the upper 90s. Young, hard throwing kid, expected to be the closer now on a pennant contending team. Same opportunity that Felice had last year.
Check swing, and C.B. Buckner says he didn't go around. I actually thought John Tumpane would ring him up. So did Ron Washington. But ball 4. And now Feliz will face Torrey Hunter. Well, did he check the swing? Very close.
That was almost the exact same one that Michael Young had earlier in the game.
And there is Jordan Walden getting loose. Jared Weaver has thrown 109 pitches. His last complete game, August 19th of 2009 at Cleveland. He didn't get any complete games in last year. So Feliz works for the strike at the knees to Torrey Hunter, who has flied twice to left and struck out twice. 2 for his last 26. 4 for his last 39. You just don't associate numbers like that with Torrey Hunter. 4th year with the Angels, an all-star for 3 of the 4. 0-2.
Good curveball by Neffy. Good, sharp, breaking, hard curveball right on the outside corner. Good opportunity for Neffy to come in and get some work. Still got a chance to work on his pitches. This will be his 16th pitch.
Hunter just barely holds back on it. Climbed the ladder on him. Cranked it up to 95. I don't think we'll see Feliz very often anymore. Just come in and try to survive just on the mid to high 90s stuff anymore. He fleshed out his repertoire when he was preparing to possibly join the rotation in the spring, and we're seeing the results of that. That one at 96, but it missed. 2-2. $31,967 in the ballpark tonight. Another 30,000 plus. The Rangers have been under that only a couple of times so far this year. Check swing. Held up on the curve, and again a 3-2 count. So Feliz now at 18 pitches, 9 of each. There goes Kendrick, and missed it very, very badly with a curve. And so after retiring Ibar and Asturias to begin the night, back-to-back walks, and he'll face Vernon Wells, fresh from his first home run as an Angel.
Yeah, the Rangers have an off day tomorrow, so pitch count is not alarming for Feliz, but it's why managers have a hard time managing a closer when you don't have save opportunities, because you have to get them work. But you want to see a 12 or 13 pitch inning, because when you've got a game the next day, you want your closer to be available. The 2 walks now got the pitch count up to 19. This will be his 20th pitch, and that's not alarming. But you don't want to see it become a 25 or 26 pitch inning, 30 pitch inning, even with an off day tomorrow.
Well, for a guy who supposedly wasn't seeing anything at the plate, Vernon Wells out in front of the 94-mile-an-hour heater there. 371-foot leadoff home run in the 8th inning has given us our current 4-1 margin, and has given Vernon a 6-game hitting streak. His average was as low as .091 before he got this streak going.
Pretty close to finally getting it up to the Mendoza line. 189 as of this trip. And now it is Fernando Rodney throwing in the Angel bullpen.
Yeah, and I don't know whether it's a situation that Walden will come in if it's a save opportunity and Rodney will come in if it's not a save opportunity.
That'd be a good guess.
Both of them are warmed up and ready to come in.
Well, no doubt Jordan Walden would love a chance to get into a game in front of family and dozens of friends that got tickets to come to tonight's game. Well, this next pitch may dictate that.
Way up and away with a lot of his fastballs.
He's now thrown one more ball than strike. 12-11, a 23 pitch ninth inning so far. The other two AL West teams both lost today. 5-3 Boston wins at Oakland, and 3-2 Detroit wins at Seattle. Oakland started the day 2 games behind the Rangers. And they fall back to an even 500, 9-9. Seattle scuffles along now at 6-13. The Angels trying to go 11-3 since their 1-3 start to the year. 8-4 on the road. Again, a bad miss by Feliz at 96.
He's missed outside to right-hand hitters by a foot 4 or 5 times. He's trying to throw the fastball away, but that's in the middle of the other batter's box. All those pitches way out of the strike zone. They're not the kind of pitches that cause the hitter any problem. They're not close enough to think about, so you just pretty much disregard those pitches. They don't set up anything else.
Kendrick and Hunter take off, and another walk. 3 straight to load the bases, and Mike Maddox can't get out there fast enough now. This after Ibar fly to center, and Astura struck out looking.
And I think one of the problems for a lot of closers when you have this kind of a pitching opportunity is you don't have the same adrenaline. You're used to coming in to hold a lead, to get the save with a game on the line, and when you come in trying to hold the game at 4-1, you're not trying to give up runs, but it's not a save opportunity. It's hard to get that same adrenaline and that same feeling. Although Feliz got the first 2 outs quickly, then it's been 3 walks.
Well, this week on Fox Saturday Baseball, Brian McCann of the Braves take on Buster Posey and the defending world champion Giants, or Joey Votto and the Reds against the Cardinals. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week, 3 p.m. Central in high definition. Check the local listings for the game and start time in your area. Well, we'll see if Maddox is able to settle down Feliz as Alberto Callaspo comes in 0 for 4.
And in a minute, Ron's going to have to get the bullpen warmed up. And he's starting to zero in on 30 pitches. And he's thrown a lot of pitches way out of the strike zone.
Only 11 strikes in his first 26. Trying to just get this game into the bottom of the 9th. High ball 2. This is about as long as I think we've seen Feliz lose really all contact with the strike zone. So, newly called up Brett Tomko quickly begins to loosen. And finally, reason for John Tumpane to raise that right hand. Feliz may be still a little bit frustrated that he didn't get the strike 3 on the check swing that looked like it might well have been in the strike zone. Started this barrage of walks. Pretty close there too. Tough one to take. It's 3-1. Where did this miss, Tom?
Well, let's find out. Well, there's your answer. It missed right in the strike zone.
Out of play, and the 4th consecutive full count on the 30th pitch of the inning. Well, if the Rangers got a lot of bad stuff out of their systems last night, I can only hope that Feliz has gotten some out of his system here in this 9th inning after being off since Friday. Runners go. And out to shallow center field. Murphy makes the running catch. And after all that, Feliz does the job of getting the game to the bottom of the 9th, still 4-1. Fox Sports Southwest brought to you by Southwest Airlines, by the Progressive Insurance Group, and by your Texas Ford dealers. Well, Jared Weaver, for the first time, works in the 9th inning this year. Young, Beltre, and Cruz, as Mike Scioscia gives Weaver a chance at his first complete game. 3 outs away from a 5-0 start. Michael Young drove in the Ranger run with a 2-out double in the 6th inning, scoring Elvis Andrus. Weaver as sharp as ever, now at 111 pitches. And Tom, out of 111, 35 have missed the strike zone.
Well, he's thrown a nice game, no doubt about it. He's thrown a lot of nice games so far this year. Has a chance to go to 5-0. Opponent's batting average coming into the game was 137. More than a strikeout per inning. He hasn't walked a batter in tonight's game.
And another line drive right at a defender. Mark Trumbo retires Michael here for the first out.
Yeah, and I think you'd have to say the Rangers have hit into a little bit of bad luck tonight. They've hit a couple of balls hard in the infield, one to third, one to first. They played the Borges made, a ball that Napoli hit to right field. Well, Weaver's been terrific. The Rangers had a little bit of misfortune as far as their line drives go tonight.
Adrian Beltre 0 for 3 and 0 for 7 the last 2 nights after his 9-game hit streak. Really, you could say that the bad luck started for the Rangers on Saturday at Yankee Stadium when Beltre's potential 3-1 go-ahead home run was blown foul down the right field line. He gets under that one a bit, and Vernon Wells squeezes out number 2.
Yeah, that was a game changer for sure.
The Rangers didn't get that break, and then Robinson Cano hit one off the right field foul pole off of Derek Holland, and Adam balls again here tonight. Final hope, Nelson Cruz 0 for 3, 2 more strikeouts. 2 for his last 18, 11 strikeouts now in his last 7 games.
Now, you'd mentioned earlier, Dave, that Weaver was the pitcher to get to 4 wins quicker than anyone else in the history of baseball, which will probably make him the quickest to get to 5. And if they do skip starters, he has a chance to start 7 games in April.
In with a strike. Yeah, because they started the season so early, March 31st. 4th win happened 5 days ago, April 15th. And this should do it. Howie Kendrick and Jared Weaver with a complete game masterpiece tonight as the Angels win it 4-1 and knock the Rangers out of first place for the first time since last June the 7th. For Weaver, his first complete game since August 2009. A 6-hitter without a walk and with 8 strikeouts. He's up now to a major league leading 39. So the Angels take 2 out of 3 in the first series between these two AL West rivals of 2011.